Greetings YouTube, and welcome to another video that I have been waiting a long time to make, and now I am plunging my faith into myself and my ability to try to articulate what I want to articulate, which is always a bit of a challenge. I didn't really know what to call this video. You know, you don't want to have a superlative like the most amazing, but you also don't want to undersell it. So I think I'm just going to call this 5 incredible Marvel Contest of Champions synergy teams, because that's accurate, and because synergy teams are constantly changing. So while these might be some of the best now, and they're always going to be good, you know, when new champions come into play. I mean, think about the Thing, right? We don't even know what his synergies are yet, because so many are mysteriously hidden because the rest of the Fantastic Four haven't been released yet. But hopefully, by the time that we revisit synergy teams at the end of 2019, we will have an idea of how fantastic the Fantastic Four synergy team is. My guess is, given the hype of them, it's going to be pretty darn awesome. Also, as a reminder, Kabam kind of has 2 options when it comes to improving champions. They can go the hard route, the expensive route, and the awesome route, which generally in a beta test form takes a champion like the recent beta test of Venom and Carnage, or the not so recent beta tests of Luke Cage and Red Hulk, and actually reworks the entire mechanics of the champion to improve them. Now, this is an awesome thing that Kabam does, I don't know, about once a year, and most importantly, it gives people a fresh opportunity to have new life in a champion that they already have. But that's expensive, and my guess is Kabam's not a big fan of that, because it's taking time and energy with their coders and their animators away from developing new champions and instead putting money into old ones. So what Kabam normally likes to do, and not that I blame them because I'd probably do the same thing, but it's certainly the easy way out, is to kind of make more money by introducing new champions that made old champions suck a heck of a lot less. And we have seen that in a couple synergy teams that I want to talk about today. Now, I'm only doing 5 synergy teams, and most of them are kind of the well-known ones, but at the same time, this is the first of maybe many episodes to come, and so I invite you not only to listen to my analysis of these teams, but if and inevitably when I miss out on not speaking about one of your favorite synergy teams, comment below and let me know the 3 champions that you really like to put together, so that when I do Volume 2, I can not only give you a shout out, but I can make sure that I didn't miss your faves. But I would be remiss if we are starting with a discussion on synergy teams, to not talk about the holy trinity of synergy teams. And there's a lot of reasons why this is the best synergy team, even now, at least still in my book. We have Blade, who I still think, even though quite a few people will disagree with this, that he's the best champion in the game. The main reason why Blade is still my favorite champion in the game is because of his awakened ability. I get very annoyed when people say, Blade doesn't need to be awakened. Well, okay, technically a cupcake doesn't need to have frosting, but this doesn't mean I want to eat a bald cupcake or a bald Pop-Tart. Weird analogy to start off a video, I realize that. But my Blade at 565 does over 800 regeneration per tick. You wouldn't imagine how many units this guy has saved me for my stupid mistakes in fights, or dealing with terrible lag, which is even going on as we speak, where I'll take a hit and I'll go down to like 18%, and then I'll retreat back and hold block, and suddenly I'm back to 40%, and then I'll get a few hits in and gain more power, convert that to healing, and I can just hover that around 70 to 71% for the next fight, using no potions, not having to waste any revives because I didn't get knocked out. It's amazing. So Blade is amazing by himself, but the danger sense is why people say he doesn't need to be awakened, because you have that normally, and his danger sense is heightened even more with this synergy team. And we know that Stark Spidey is also a top 5 champion, especially when it comes to damage in the game. This is someone that, thanks to the Dungeon Crystals and Katie Candy's dance, I got to pull, but if we hadn't had that luck, I'd be going for featured crystals right now and hoping and praying I finally pulled him. Another person that's amazing on his own. And last but not least in this trio, this holy trinity, we have Ghost Rider, someone that, gosh, everyone's got to have goals in life, and my goal is still to awaken this guy. When I maybe have a a little bit of sleep deprivation or maybe a couple of drinks in me, I'm so tempted to just say, screw it. I'm using my generic awakening gem on him because I've waited so long to get another Ghost Rider. But then I get some sleep, I sober up, and I think to myself, no, I'll save it for someone like Omega Red. It's the smart thing to do. But Ghost Rider is a fantastic champion. The big knock against him is he doesn't do the most damage with his attack, and I get that. He doesn't hit and will never hit like someone like Stark Spidey. But the regeneration you can cause with that heavy attack, the judgments that you can inflict, it's amazing. And so when you get this holy trinity together and you look at the synergy bonuses, you can see that Blade's Danger Sense expands to include all villains. And there are a lot of really tough people to fight in this game. Even someone like Green Goblin, who I still hate to fight, especially a 6-star Green Goblin. That makes it just a little bit easier. Ghost Rider, plus 50% chance to place a judgment. That is huge when you're fighting with Ghost Rider. And then we have the Stark Spidey, right? Spider-Man Stark Enhanced starts the fight with 3 poise charges. So you can start the fight doing exceptional damage. And this is somebody that if you're thinking about doing a Legends run and you have this synergy, you're starting with enough attack to take down most opponents in all aspects of Heroic, but even the start of the Master difficulty, probably the first couple chapters of that as well, without having to build more poise charges. So it actually could help you, especially if you turn on some Suicide Masteries to go with it. So that is the very predictable Holy Trinity, the first synergy team. I'm going to do this in groups of 3 because I also like to talk about teams that you can bring in on attack in both Alliance Quest and Alliance War, and we all know that you're limited to 3 champions to bring in. So, yes, it's the most obvious, but it is also the most important one. Now, the next synergy team involves somebody that I just hunted and succeeded in getting, and that is none other than the very complicated but very rewarding champion of Ghost. We've got Ghost, and then as if Ghost doesn't sting you with approval enough, we have, for those of you who've already guessed it, our Wasp, who I hope to awaken at some point. And then on top of that, we will stick in the science class, and we will scroll down to a champion that royally sucks, but has received a huge improvement in Ant-Man, someone that, as you can see at level 40, I have pulled not once, not twice, but 3 times in a 5-star crystal. He is a very common pull, the Pidgey of the Rat-a-tat of this game we like to call Marvel Contest of Champions. But going back to Ghost, to look at the synergies in this quantum trinity, this quantum realm trinity, if you will, we see that Ant-Man gets plus 15% attack for each debuff on the opponent. And that can stack pretty darn fast. Ghost, plus 15% attack for each buff on Ghost. Also can stack very quickly, especially when you're converting those buffs when you dash back. Now we will talk about the microscopic observation of Wasp. Special attacks are unblockable when triggered while phasing. So Ghost, talk about OP, right? And then on top of that, Hood, I just wanted to point out, is the 4th member of this. But I would like to argue that Wasp and Ant-Man probably take the cake on the trio. Hood is the 4th member of this boy/girl band. Not sure why I called it that, but no going back. We're doing this all in one take. So yeah, the Quantum Trinity, Ghost, Wasp, and Ant-Man is number 2 on our list of teams. Now, we want to move this video right along because you know I do not like to waste your time when it comes to synergy teams, and that is why we're going to go with a synergy team that I call the Lucky Team. You see, if you get Domino, you're already insanely lucky. This could be arguably the best champion in the game, especially long-term for Labyrinth of Legends. She is unbelievable, and she is just as much of a pain fighting on defense, almost at least, as it is using her on offense in terms of the thrills of the damage output. But she becomes infinitely more enjoyable to play, especially if you are a fan like me of the parry mechanic with the well-timed blocks with 2 other champions. Now, unfortunately, I only have this champion, this skill champion, as a 3-star, and that is Mr. Massacre. I hope to pull him as a 4-star or a 5-star soon enough. And besides Massacre, the other lucky trinity that I'm calling this, besides Massacre and Domino, is another member of the science class that I already have had for a very long time but still not awakened, and that is the Red Hulk. I'm on the hunt for red, people. With the hunt for Red Omega, you'd think that I would get a Red Hulk at some point, but probably not. So, what does this allow Domino to do? Well, let's go back to our 6-star Domino, who will hopefully be at rank 2 by the end of this calendar year. And we'll first see Domino. Look at all those synergy bonuses. Synergies for days. But we scroll down, and Massacre at the start of the fight. And when ignited expires, gain between 1 and 5 ignition charges. That can stack into something awesome, and especially if you get the lucky 5 ignition charges. And then Domino debuffs last 1 second longer. Now, 1 second is a lot longer when you consider the Red Hulk synergy, because Domino's heavy attacks inflict an incinerate that deals damage equal to that heavy attack's damage over 2 seconds, but really that's 3 seconds when paired with Massacre, and that can be so insanely sick. And I brought up parry because you just parry, and you heavy attack, and you parry, and you heavy attack, and you rinse, and you repeat, even in Labyrinth of Legends, until you build up that special 3, and then you get off the special 3, and life is fun. And that is now how I plan on taking on Labyrinth of Legends eventually, hopefully by the end of 2019, is with my 6-star rank 2 Domino and a awesome synergy team that probably includes Red Hulk, Massacre, and then who knows, maybe a couple of wild cards like Stark, Spidey, and Blade. I don't know. Sounds like a fun time for me. But yeah, that's team number 3. I'm calling that the Lucky Trinity of Domino, Massacre, and Red Hulk. Now, the 4th trio is one that I covered months back in a video, and I'm calling this the Alliance War Trinity because this is a amazing Alliance War attack team and just an amazing team in general. So you don't want to avoid it. And yes, I've overused that pun for many, many, many videos. Look at my Void, Sig 179 now. We are climbing up the charts of signature stones with this guy. Now, Void is incredible by himself with a high Sig level being awakened. I get questions all the time. Should I rank 4 my unawakened Void? My answer is always no. Wait. It will be much better. But Void is with another champion of mine that I can't wait to awaken at some point, and Gwenpool at the movies brought me this champion, and that is Mr. Killmonger, Mr. Eric Killmonger to be exact. And then last but certainly not least, I am stuck with just a 3-star version of this person as well because I cannot pull them to save my life, and that is Sabretooth, who I almost accidentally just clicked sell. That would have been a terrible decision. So let us return to our Void to check out this synergy between these 3 awesome champions by themselves. So, you have... Maybe I should go to Killmonger for this, actually. Oh, the recording of live YouTube and all its many awkwardness. All right. I do want to point out, by the way, that the honorable mention, just as the Hood was the honorable 4th mention of the Lucky Trinity, Winter Soldier is an honorable mention to kind of turn into Star-Lord 1.0, hence Winter Soldier up there. But we'll start with this. So Void, if Vibranium armor is active, Killmonger has a 35% chance to purify a debuff after a 0.5 second delay and then instantly regenerate 4% health per debuff. So yes, you do have the ability to regenerate as Killmonger, and then Void regenerates 1% health as well when inflicting his intimidating debuffs, and that can save you in plenty of Alliance War fights, especially because Void is incredibly powerful, but it takes a long time with fights, right? Void is a long game type of player. Now, I did pull up the Sabretooth synergy, anticipating that I would not be able to read it given my lack of Sabretooth. Add Sabretooth to a team with Killmonger to activate the No Mercy synergy bonus, where inflicting a debuff with Sabretooth reduces the opponent's ability accuracy by 100% for 0.7 seconds, whilst Killmonger gets plus 30% power rate when hitting opponents suffering from a debuff. So Killmonger, even more power. Sabretooth, reducing ability accuracy by 100% for almost a second. It is incredible, and yes, that is the Alliance War Trinity. So, if you are counting, we're up to 4 out of 5, and this is why we're also only doing 5, because we don't want these videos to be 20 minutes long. And now, for the last Trinity, we are going to go with what I like to call the shock value Trinity, because we are taking Proxima Midnight, Corvus Glaive, and then the 3rd member of this team for me, one of my favorite champions, so incredibly underrated and underappreciated, and that is Miss Nebula. Now, Nebula is a fun champion to play because I like, kind of like Quake, for example. I like to hold down heavy attacks. And Blade, I hold down my block. I get some regeneration back. We've established that already in this video. Now, Proxima Midnight, let's just check her out and look at the synergy bonuses. Boom! Nebula starts the fight with 10 electroshock charges. So with Nebula, you want to build up to a special 2. And then when you parry, you transfer those shock charges onto the opponent. And almost all opponents are not immune to shock except for like Korg and the Thing maybe. And that is going to do a ton of damage. But when you get off your special 2, while that shock damage is ticking, it resets and doubles. So that's a minimum of 20 electroshock charges, even if you don't gain any more during the fight, as long as you reach a special 2 and time the parry and the special 2 attack. It is fan-freaking-tastic. And then Proxima Midnight Ultimate Missions combo meter requirement goes down to 75 hits. Pretty big deal with Corvus. So yeah, it's just amazing. And now we're going to go to Corvus and check out his synergies for the moment. And we look at the Corvus Glaive Proxima Midnight, where you use a heavy or special attack to knock down an opponent that used evade or auto block in a fight. Once this mission is complete, the true damage becomes True Strike. Gotta love that True Strike, right? And then another bonus with Nebula, where they also get plus 7% attack. So Nebula works with synergies with both of them. So I realized that was a lot of information in a relatively short amount of time, but that is why I wanted to hold on to 5 incredible synergy teams: Blade, Ghost Rider, Stark, Spidey, the Holy Trinity, Ghost, Wasp, and Ant-Man, the Quantum Trinity, Domino, Massacre, Red Hulk, the Lucky Trinity, Sabretooth, Void, and Killmonger, the Alliance War Attack Trinity, and last, Corvus Glaive, Proxima Midnight, and Nebula, Shock Trinity, Shock Value Trinity, if you will. Those are 5 incredible synergy teams. If you have any of these members, I would highly recommend that you start building synergy teams around them for the future in Attack. That works for Alliance Quest, Alliance War, and certainly questing in general. And I hope you enjoyed this video. There will hopefully also be more to come. This is episode 1 of many. Please comment below and let me know what teams I inevitably didn't have time to talk about, and we will do episode 2 in the coming weeks and maybe months. Have a good one, YouTube. Thanks for watching.